The SEC has repeatedly attempted to block XRP, but the XRP army has done it again. This day will be remembered as the day that things finally turned around. For years, despite attacks, storms, and high winds, we have remained resilient. However, a shocking revelation from the U.S. Congress will have a ripple effect throughout the banking industry. Emergency legislation designating XRP as a non-security was passed following intense pressure from a Senate committee that had been monitoring the SEC's overreach. The fog of doubt that holders have been dealing with for a while is lifted by this. The legislation needs a solution to correct the situation, so XRP users are assured of a $25,000 price, the $25,000. This has nothing to do with speculation, forecasting, or hype. This is the official set by the government to penalize holders who have remained faithful despite years of uncertainty, manipulation, and legal battles. They were known as the XRP Army, and despite the odds being against them, they remained united. They've now accomplished something that didn't seem imaginable. This community's members are now living examples of how to be resilient, patient, and believe the idea of the XRP ledger and Ripple. Once believed to be the irresistible force in U.S. securities regulation, the SEC must now concede defeat, cede its authority, and step aside as the law now almost equally recognizes XRP as a valid worldwide digital asset. The news startled Wall Street, the cryptocurrency community, and any trader who questioned the strength of a united group. Now that XRP is no longer a secret asset, but rather a legitimate financial instrument that anybody can use, banks, hedge funds, and other institutional players are scurrying. This is an unequal reward at its best. Those who remained loyal to Ripple despite the legal struggle, the scare tactics, and the long-term goals are going to reap rewards that will not only transform their lives, but also genuinely transform how they live. Once deemed unattainable, the 25,000 XRP concept has now been documented, and all market participants must adjust their expectations. Therefore, everything we now understand about cryptocurrency payments, taxation, and institutional acceptance is set to alter. Analysts used to mock XRP as just another altcoin, as you may recall. They're hurrying to change now their forecasts. The mainstream media now has to acknowledge that this grassroots movement is growing and unstoppable. The XRP army has demonstrated that individuals can genuinely alter the way financial and regulatory institutions operate if they share a common belief in the project, wait patiently, and have faith in its fundamentals. To be honest, it's not just about the money. This is about making a point, mooring the financial industry's norms for conducting business. Now, every XRP owner possesses more than just an asset. Additionally, they have a government-backed claim and a financial instrument that is supported by laws and regulations. The SEC has finally conceded to the obvious after years of litigation, harsh subpoenas, and attempts to freeze markets. Because of its legal protections, XRP will continue existence and is referred to as a non-security. This agreement establishes a benchmark for future digital asset operations. It provides investors, regulators, and newbies with a means of preparation. Beyond only acknowledging the circumstance, the emergency laws take further action. By establishing a legally enforceable price of 25,000, it actively compensates XRP investors for the years of uncertainty. All token holders, from early adopters to new converts, now have a stake in a hitherto unheard of government-backed reparation plan. The impact on the overall market is startling. Listings on exchanges must be rebalanced. Large investors must ensure that their holdings are organized. Additionally, small investors might now enjoy benefits that are difficult to fathom. This transformation is gradual. It's an earthquake. The XRP army has faced legal threats, misinformation, and smear efforts. However, every issue has only strengthened the community. Social media is ablaze, forums are crowded, and the narrative is obvious. The underdog prevailed, the cause triumphed, and the SEC was compelled to concede. It is impossible to overstate the impact this incident had on people's thoughts. For years, XRP owners have faced a great deal of uncertainty, distrust, and insecurity. However, here we are, proving our correctness in the most spectacular manner imaginable. There's more to this win than just money. It is related to society and culture, a potent illustration of the power of communication, community, and teamwork in achieving goals. The mainstream media is paying close attention to the deal. Experts are retracting all of their earlier statements. Additionally, the Bitcoin market is currently readjusting globally. Given that XRP is completely supported and backed by the leading financial institutions, banks are reconsidering their ambitions for digital assets, legislative power. At one point, regulatory worries caused XRP to be marginalized. Many people will find it simple to utilize RP once the government formally accepts it. Businesses, payment processors, and international financial institutions are all closely monitoring the situation. Our all closely mandated 25,000 price trend has become the new norm. Missed opportunities result from every second of hesitation. E is more than just a dispersed online fan community. Now a well-known force, the XRP army's tenacity has genuinely altered the way rules are effective. This tale of David and Goliath tells of how a community banded together to defeat a powerful corporation. The law itself is really specific. It outlines the SEC's timetables, compliance requirements, and settlement framework. This eliminates any authority they previously held and clarifies the compensation procedure. No matter how much they hold, all XRP owners now benefit from a legally guaranteed payout scheme. Years of perseverance have paid off in the form of actual cash. And in all honesty, Ripple Labs is equally affected. The business can now concentrate on new ventures, collaborations, and growing the XRP ledger without constantly worrying about lawsuits, as there is no longer any legal danger. Without having to worry about regulations, they may now fully realize their ideal of a rapid, secure, and lawful international payment system. Thus, this represents a significant shift for the entire crypto landscape. It ushers in a new era where governments, safeguard holders, acknowledge the value of blockchain assets, and provide models for correcting authorities when they go too far. The markets throughout the world are responding, and I can't stress enough how beneficial this is for cryptocurrency users, both inside and outside the XRP community. XRP holders are celebrating a win that has accumulated over years on social media, which is replete with expressions of gratitude, excitement, and even surprise. Well, analysts are suddenly being forced to acknowledge what everyone else has long understood. In addition to being a legitimate asset, the government has acknowledged and safeguarded XRP's worth. In the event that widespread adoption occurs, institutional investors are revising their risk models and they're preparing for the influx of money that comes with legitimacy supported by the government. Now that every move in the XRP market is supported by the law, those who have persevered through the storm can make forecasts that were previously only educated guesses. This is the end of a social and legal change, which is evidence of the strength of patience, faith, and unity. The narrative is simple to follow. When a community remains steadfast in its convictions and refuses to give way to fear, it is possible for even the most resilient institutions to yield. In all honesty, there is more to this SEC's withdrawal than just a transaction. Respecting the strength and power of a worldwide decentralized effort is demonstrated by this. In the beginning, the $25 price for XRP was only a pipe dream discussed in forums. Now it is an unbreakable rule.